Hey everybody, it's Safi and Marco, Dish Out on the Movies.
And what are we here to do, Safi?
We are going to review a show that just premiered again this year, season 11 of American Horror Story. Now, the name of the season, this season, is called New York City, and that could be anything. But what is it about? Well, we had to watch 2 episodes because that's what they premiered the first night. And it's about the gay community.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the lesbian community, I'm talking about the boys. Okay?
It's about like a 0.0001% part of the gay community.
Yeah,
More like this. It's because so you have the first episode. It's called Something's Coming, and the second episode's called Thank You for Your Service, which is really weird because the Something's Coming thing happens in the second episode, where that guy, whatever his name is, people keep on telling him something evil is coming, something's coming. So it would make more sense to put it in that one. And then the thank you for your service thing, that would be in reference to the pilot, which happened in the opening scene of the first episode. So it's really weird why those titles are in the wrong episodes.
I don't know.
Why are they that incompetent? And see, that's going to lead to the main point about this shitty-ass fucking season. Is that this season, they didn't put any effort into making this. They threw this together. You know why? Because Ryan Murphy was too busy making Dahmer, his Tumblr Dahmer BLM series. And so he didn't really care. And so this really, what this is Dahmer's runoffs. Like, I'm not going to give a food rating for each episode, but I'm going to already give one for this season as a whole.
No, I don't think you should.
Yeah, I am. And because
it's up to you.
I know what it is.
I'm not.
You have a pan of bacon, and it's gay bacon, so it's turkey bacon. And
I like turkey bacon.
Well, I like it, but it's like, you'd rather have regular bacon. Probably from Wendy's. Wendy's has really good bacon for some reason. You have a pan of turkey bacon and you're cooking it and there's all this grease and you take the bacon off and you eat the bacon. That's the Dahmer Tumblr BLM season. And then you take all the grease and you put that in a cup and you put that in a refrigerator for a year. And then you put it in the microwave and you drink it, and that's like this. That's what I would rate this season of American Horror Story. This is a cup of bacon grease.
Okay, well, I'm not going to do that.
Why?
I have hopes, even though they're probably misguided.
Yeah, they
that
are.
It will get better. This is and the reason why Marco said this is a marginalized gay area, because it's almost like the person who develops one of the major developers of these series is gay, and I think he's really doing disservice making this like making a stereotype.
Yeah.
He's turning a group of people into a stereotype. That doesn't help you.
Well, really.
Or them.
He's doing a disservice to actual gay people.
Well, that's
like
what
just
I said.
Normal gay people. And then he's servicing himself at the same time.
He dressed, I'm not kidding. I look at clothing all the time now because I sell it. And he made almost all of them dress exactly the same.
Yeah, it was
like a uniform.
It was really bizarre.
I don't get that.
they had them like opening up their closets like they're superheroes that are getting ready to suit up in their gay costumes.
And the gay
that are just their normal clothes.
And the normal clothes. This is what it was. Okay, you'll see it. You'll see it for yourself. Just watch the first episode.
No,
you don't even have to watch the whole thing.
No, just don't watch anything.
Well,
don't
I'm not
watch
going to
it.
say that.
Yeah, I am.
Well, I'm not.
I am. Don't watch it.
Anyway.
Don't waste your time.
Short sleeve shirt or sleeveless, but to me, sleeveless is just too much because it gets chilly there. I mean, it's like this isn't Florida and or Southern California. And
well, see, the creators live in California, so they don't really know about anything that goes on in New York.
Is. But anyway, this is, and I have to say too, we have to say this is very important, and it could be crucial or integral to the series, and that is this is taking place in the early 80s or in the 80s sometime, and that was at a certain time in the gay community where they were doing bad behavior. And they know.
Well, they still are.
And no,
in fact,
they
now,
had to.
Now they're celebrating. Now they're celebrating it even more, and saying like, "I have 5 wives. I have 5 or 6 husbands. We're a polyamorous relationship, and we all sleep with each other all the time, and we love each other."
Multiple marriages is illegal.
No, but it's a poly relationship.
Well, they're going to get themselves into trouble again, and they know this, and everybody knows this.
And I'm saying every type of person, not just gay people. There's tons of people who are doing this type of thing where, they have like 1,000 partners because they're a bunch of fucking whores, and that's kind of like what the show is celebrating.
And just
it's celebrating sexual promiscuity, and it's celebrating sleazy depravity stereotypes, like stuff that you'd think that the show was written by an anti-gay person. Like
it's really weird.
You wouldn't think that an actual gay person wrote the show. It's very similar to that shitty ass comedy that they tried to release that even gay people didn't even want to see, and so it failed at the box office. This is very similar to that.
Well, this is at the time where the AIDS virus was raging, and the reason why was because, in part of it, that gay people were going to bathhouses, and they were just having multiple partners. And when I was watching, I'm like, what is going on here? They know they can't do that. The spread of the AIDS, it went crazy. People died. It was a terrible situation. They closed down bathhouses like crazy because they were promoting this multiple partner thing where people just went in and it was to go have sex.
Well, Safi, I just hope that watching this show doesn't give me AIDS.
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't be ridiculous.
Well, that's what it feels like.
I said, Marco, what is this? Well, it's the 80s. Okay, that explains it all.
But it's not even like 80s. It looks like a fucking 2022 fucking Lifetime movie set the whole time. Like, it doesn't even look like the 80s. Like, yeah, Safi,
yeah,
did the 80s look like that? When you walk around places, like, I don't think so. No.
And also, that is when I went to Tanzania with my husband. We did research there, and the AIDS epidemic was there really bad, too. They had prostitutes coming in from Uganda, and somebody got the virus, and it started spreading, and it was all over. A lot of people died there. In fact, it had an effect on the population. Left a bunch of orphans.
I just wish that the season would die and that we wouldn't have to watch the rest. Because I gotta be honest, Safi, if I didn't have to review this crap, I wouldn't have even finished the first episode. Would you have even watched? Would you finish the first episode and watched it? No.
Probably not, but you know what? I haven't seen all of the seasons of American Horror Story. I'd like to do that.
Well, see, that's the only reason I'm watching it is because, you have to watch them all so that you can rank them all.
Well, I don't know about ranking. That's a millennial thing.
Yeah, we will be ranking them, Safi. We just haven't had the time to watch the other seasons
we're
because
still moving. We're still packing.
No, it's because we've been doing the X-Files.
Well,
and we've been doing the X-Files for a long time because of Safi.
It's lengthy.
Because of Safi. And so, there's so many things to talk about, though.
Okay, well, let's just talk about just the main theme is there's been a bunch of murders, and of course, it's all gay men, I think, right? And because this is a gay community that they have featured, where they all wear short sleeve shirts, 99%. 99%. Skin tight.
They all dress the same.
It's like a uniform.
They all talk the same. They all do the same things together.
They wear blue jeans or slacks.
I don't think this is what gay people are actually like in real life.
I don't either, and I think it's disgusting.
It really is, because it's like
stereotype people like that.
I wouldn't have it's really weird, because it's like you look at the theme of the season, New York City. Is New York City known for gay people?
Yes, Marco.
No, it's not.
It's known for a lot of things.
Fucking San Francisco is. New York City is known as the melting pot, where you have people who immigrated here. So they could have done something with that instead, and it would have made a lot more sense. They could have done their shitty ass gay season in San Francisco. They could have done American Horror Story, San Francisco, 1980. And then you have all these same bargain bin actors who weren't good enough to be in the other seasons, or that's another weird thing. There's so many things to talk about. Let's just start off with the cast.
Okay, well, we have to tell what the theme is. Well, I guess I just said it. There's a murderer.
There's a gay killer.
Maybe a gay person.
There's a gay virus.
Kill other gays, and then the police don't do anything. They even have. But after this, I think they start to do something. But that goes on to the next episode, which we haven't seen yet, of course, episode 3. But finally, somebody gets killed in a crowded bar. They have their throat. I thought they had their throat slashed,
no,
but
they
whatever.
Had their arteries
the person
slashed
reached out.
He cut into it
and cut into his car.
You're getting ahead. Why are you talking about something that happens
it wasn't
in the
until
fucking
after
second episode?
We might be able. The police might.
Why are you jumping ahead? Who cares?
I'm just saying. We
haven't gotten there yet.
Well, that's what it's about.
No, we haven't. That's not what it's about. That's what happens at the end of the second episode. Fuck off.
No, the whole.
You have to start before that.
Okay, well, the whole thing is about murders.
Yeah, you already said that. It's a gay killer.
That's it.
And there's a gay virus. There's a gay community. Who gives a fuck? Nobody. Except for the people who made the show. That's who.
And I don't know what they're trying to prove.
This show was made to service the creators and not the audience. It was made to service an agenda. Because this is basically like Dahmer, Junior. Where you have... It's funny because the killer, he's as tall as Jeffrey should have been on his own show. And he's a lot creepier than Jeffrey Dahmer was in that show. And he's not portrayed as a good guy so far like Jeffrey was. But the thing is that you can just see... Oh, Ryan Murphy was just... Oh, he really loved doing all these nightclub things. These nightclub sequences. So, we have all these different nightclubs, and they have different colors. They have different shitty music. There's one where, like, they dress up like, in shitty colonial outfits, and they do weird shit in there, and read poetry, scary poems to people. And it's like, he's just like servicing, like, oh, I really like doing this Dahmer, so I'm going to do Dahmer for American Horror Story. But it's going to be so shitty that, like, nobody wants to watch it. Like, there's only like 3 reviews for the first episode. Like, I just can't imagine that anyone wants to watch this. Like, this is made for a very tiny, tiny percentage of people. Like, there really isn't anything interesting going on. There isn't any really good acting at all. It's just, like, all, like, boring, soap opera-y, stereotypical. And then, of course, you have the photography thing, like in the Dahmer show. You have, all the police are evil, except for the gay cop. He's the only good cop because he's gay. But
he has to be quiet about it. They don't know he's gay.
Oh, yeah, he can't say anything because police hate gays. And then...
that's why they don't do anything.
They had this stupid-ass scene where they had a little BLM agenda line where this guy says, you're too white to have to worry about the police or something. Like, really, really bizarre, like, racist stuff that they say on the show. And then they had a little segregation agenda, too, because they have this shitty-ass gay newspaper called The Native. They should have called it The Gative. And, because the main guy, he's the worst actor in the whole show. I mean, he's just so terrible. It's like watching a fucking breadstick.
I think he's the editor, I think.
Like, he's the main guy for the shitty-ass newspaper.
And writer.
And these lesbians come in, and they complain, you guys never talk about the lesbians.
Yeah, and he said, well, that's because all the murders have been boys.
No, Safi.
And she said, they're going to come after us pretty soon.
Don't interrupt me. That's not what he said at all. He said, no, I don't write about lesbians because I'm a gay man. So I write about gay men. And it's like, oh, that's just your little segregation agenda where only gay men can write about gay men. Only lesbian women can write about lesbian women.
And that's ridiculous.
Because then they give the lesbian women, these random lesbos, they give them a typewriter and say, go type a story out because
3 of them.
I don't really care about the lesbians.
Well, he's going to put out 2 issues, and one of them he doesn't know what he's going to do for him. So he said, you can have it. You can have the issue. You just sit here, here's a table, and here's a typewriter.
Because they have to be segregated. They can't, you can't, Safi, you can't ever write about a gay person because you're not gay. And, I can never write about a black people's story because I'm not black. Like, that's what the people who make this show think.
And that's ridiculous.
You can see it all the way down to the casting, where every single gay character is played by a gay person. And you can guarantee Kumar from Harold and Kumar, he's gay in real life. You can guarantee that they're going to reveal at some point that his character is gay. And because they have this little belief now in Hollywood, this segregationist belief, where you can only play what you are in real life. And so I guess the guy who's playing the serial killer is a serial killer in real life. I don't know. I mean, that's what the show promotes. It's like, they couldn't have, and the reason why I know this is because last season they had this Area 51 shitty ass story. And really everything now with American Horror Story is shitty ass shit. It's fucking AIDS on steroids. And they had this gay couple, and one of the guys, he's not in this season. And, this season, it really has, like, bargain bin actors for the most part. And so, there really was no reason to not put him in this season, other than the fact that he probably isn't gay in real life. And so, he has to be segregated, and he can only play the straight character. So...
You mean you're talking about one of the 2 that talked filthy language?
Yeah.
And so maybe he was when he was just really saying the lines, and oh god.
Yeah. And see that they realize, we have to segregate actors now because 2022 Hollywood, segregation is back thanks to Hollywood. Yay.
Yeah.
And you know what? What about the viewers? Like, I guess we're not allowed to watch this show because we're not who the show's about, right, Safi? Like, I don't see myself on screen, so why would I want to watch the show?
That's ridiculous.
I don't see myself. I have to see myself. I have to go look in the mirror and, like, smile at myself like I'm a fucking weirdo. So, Safi, what else do you have to say? What do you think about all that stuff I said? Do you like segregation?
I wasn't thinking of it in that terms. I was just thinking that for someone who's actually gay and who's developing the series, you're not helping yourself any, because we have a political thing coming up, an election where in the end, not this year, but they want to get rid of gay marriage, these idiots who want to take back Congress, and a lot of other things. Get rid of all abortion, no exceptions.
Safi,
but anyway,
Safi,
why
fuck
are
off
you
with
doing
your dumbass politics.
No, but I'm saying, why are you doing yourself and making yourself into a stereotype?
I know. Why would you want
would you
people
do that?
like this? This is the worst show to have come out before the election, like, for people to watch. Like, that's the other thing, is the timing. Like, why? Like, who's watching this when they could watch anything else on Halloween? Like, who the fuck would want to watch this when they could go watch Chucky? Because that's what we did. We chose to watch the next episode of Chucky and review that
First.
and we chose to put this off second.
Yeah.
And why is that? Because Chucky's fucking good.
Well, there's actually some people who can act on there.
And you know what? Now, after seeing how gay people were portrayed in this, it's kind of interesting, because the gay stuff in Chucky isn't so cringy anymore in comparison. Like, you know, that hallway scene where Jake and Devin were, like, making out in front of the whole school hallway with the fucking time lapse. Like, that's better than this in terms of, like, this was, like, really bad. Like, you could say, like, you could probably say you could be offended on behalf of gay people that this show was made.
Well, I am.
Like,
because
it's really gross.
I don't understand it. It just, like, I don't know. I don't want to say anything else. It just kills me.
It's
I don't
too
understand
bad.
it.
I think that Brian Fuller is another gay.
No, I don't think he is.
He's also very full of himself.
He's not gay.
I think
Brian Fuller.
I think he could have done a better job with this story.
I
think Ryan Murphy should have said, I'm really interested in Dahmer because he's my type, and he should have gone off with his little lovey-dovey Jeffrey Dahmer, and he should have brought in Brian Fuller to do this season. And then Brian Fuller could have made something good. Because it kind of has a couple of similarities to Hannibal, and so he could have made, like, a really good season, and then Ryan Murphy can just go make his little gay fan fiction with Jeffrey Dahmer.
Okay, well, do we want to say what happened at the end?
Safi, we haven't even began.
Well, let's do that.
We haven't.
We haven't begun.
We haven't even beginning it. We haven't even begun. We haven't even begin.
No, it's begun.
We haven't even begun.
It's began.
We haven't even begin.
Okay.
Well,
so anyway, go ahead.
I don't care. I don't even care. Like, it's
like
just,
we said,
this shit's trash.
Gay men are getting murdered.
It's like
the police haven't done anything. They haven't shown any interest, and that's another thing. I just don't. Maybe this is based on a true story.
No,
Maybe
it's not, Safi.
No, but I mean, this would be a civil rights problem. It would be a federal, a state, and even a city. Maybe they just, I don't know, I can't believe it, because, they just literally won't do anything. They won't, I don't even know if they've sent any, like, let's say somebody gets murdered, and they're missing, then they find their body. They don't even send anybody out to talk to anybody, or if they do, it's very, like, for 1 second. They show this. And the main reporter, well, he's the editor, I believe, of that gay newspaper, The Native. He even gets kidnapped. And he is by the guy, I guess the murderer, and he says, you know what? You can tell the police all about this, but they're not going to come because they don't care.
Well, I will say certain aspects were probably based on real things. I would bet that the photographer was based off of, I can't remember his name, but there is a certain photographer, and he did very explicit photos, and I think he was prominent in the 80s. And
was that guy who died and he wore a cowboy hat?
I don't know. I don't know his name, but he I thought that really reminded me of that. And then there was a case, and it's funny because the guy who they got to play the killer, he looks a lot like the real guy in the case. But the thing is that guy was a rich guy, and so when he was, and in real life he did say that, he said, you can tell the police and they're not going to believe you or do anything. But the thing is that with that guy, it was more so because he's rich and because he had connections with the police that way, rather than like, oh, police don't care about gay people. It's an agenda. You know, they don't care about anybody except for white men, apparently. Like, that's what this whole show is about. It's like it's like Dahmer. What was the main message with Dahmer? Police don't like gay people. They don't like black people.
Yeah,
they're
don't like
evil.
anybody.
They're all Nazi KKK supporters.
Which is not true.
And then
bad for them, too.
And then for this show, for American Horror Story, what's the message? All police are evil. They all, except for the gay policeman. They all hate gay people. They're all Nazi white supremacists. Like, that's the message. So
let's be clear, the rest of the police department don't know that the guy's gay, but to me, I mean, in real life, not real life, but in his other life, when he's not working, he wears sleeveless clothing or shorts. Well, I don't think he was in short sleeves. There was a sleeveless, tight shirt and slacks.
Yeah, literally all he does is walk around without his sleeves down. Like, it's pretty weird. It's like he's just playing this caricature. Everyone is.
It just sickens me.
Yeah.
Why would you want to make a certain group of people who already could be potentially encountering some problems with gay marriage? Why would you do that? Right before an election. God.
This is nothing but a reinforcement of the agenda of the Dahmer show. And the story itself is not worth it at all.
Not so far.
Okay, so you have like 3 or 4 things. You have number 1, there's a gay killer, and who knows who the killer is, who really cares.
Well, we have a thought of who it might be. Because the person is like right out in the open. Because he knows he can be out in the open.
Well, yeah. You think it's a red herring, though. You think the killer's going to get killed or arrested.
Because you know why? Because American Horror Story always has some kind of like a supernatural or some kind of bent like that. And so we're waiting for that.
Well, that's another thing, is that this really feels like it's not American Horror Story. Like, they've had gay characters that were good in past seasons. Like, they had, in the first season, they had that gay couple that lived at the murder house. And I thought that they were good characters, and I liked watching them. Especially, like, the part where he's burning all the things, all the baby stuff in the furnace, or what, not furnace, but this, and then you had, it's just, it doesn't feel at all like American Horror Story, and that's because he's emulating Dahmer again. You know, he's making it a crime drama. There's all these things, you have the bathhouses like in Dahmer, you have like the apartments, the sleazy apartments, you have where the killer has the victim, and it's like a blurry point of view shots, like with Dahmer. It's just all like he took the Dahmer show and he said, let's make that American Horror Story, but even more terrible. And they did try to, it seems to me, they also have this character walking around called Big Daddy, and he's a leather guy, and he looks kind of like...
He wears leather. He's...
An
and
executioner.
It's tight, too.
Yeah, he looks like an executioner or something.
Yeah, he has this mask over his face.
It seems like his character is like a bargain bin version of the Leatherman from season 1. And almost like he represents the Grim Reaper. And every time you see him, it means that somebody is going to be hurt because, you know, this guy got killed in the park. Well, right before that happened, you saw the leather guy. And then you saw the leather guy again when the photographer's husband, when he walks into his apartment and calls up this guy who he wants to torture and probably kill. And so that's another dumbass storyline. And so, but just seeing that character, I think he's like the Grim Reaper symbol. He's like a spirit, but I don't really care. Like, they had another weird random thing too where they captured this guy, the police, because he was putting up anti-police flyers, and they were like, we're not gonna what did they say, like, we're not gonna harm your civil rights or something. But then this like gay cowboy comes in and beats him up on the floor. That's the only thing that I liked, because
he was wearing underwear.
I thought that reminded me of like Twin Peaks or something, the way that, like, just randomly out of nowhere this gay cowboy walks in.
He had a cowboy hat and just underwear, and he was all muscular and tall.
And then he walks out and leaves, and it's like, that was so random. But that was actually like the best part of the show, because it was just like so out of nowhere and so creepy, because you think what's the deal with that? It doesn't make any sense at all.
No.
So I like that. And then I kind of liked the bar scene where that guy does get killed a little bit. I thought that, you know, that could have been a very effective scene if it was executed better. Like, just the idea of that couple goes there. And that's another thing, is that the killer seems to have some sort of a connection to that couple. He has some sort, because he let the reporter go.
But he tortured him. He put pins or needles in his nail beds.
And he injected something.
And we did not see anything. We only, what was it? It was just really dark, and maybe Marco could see it.
It was blurry point of view shots, like with Dahmer,
and
the Dahmer
everybody
show.
who has seen him since then, what happened to your hands? I mean, this is something, this guy, what does he do for a living? He writes, he's an editor, and he types.
Yeah.
He types his writing. In other words, some writers write out things. I've done that. I've done both. So if you're, whatever, either way, your hands would be killing you. And here he is. He's going to work, and he's just working.
Well, that's another
away.
thing.
I don't get that at all, after being tortured.
Let's talk about the amateur filmmaking aspect of that. The fact that, you know, any normal filmmaker or any intelligent filmmaker would have had a scene where he's trying to type and he can't type at all because it hurts a lot and it's emphasized, and you see it's like he just can't do anything, and then maybe he has to have someone else type for him, and that's what would lead to the lesbians helping him.
And this would be
make
a
a lot more sense.
This would be a detail.
Yeah.
That you would attend to.
Typing takes a lot of energy in your hands, like
even writing too.
It's not
handwriting.
It's not a cakewalk to type something.
And he said, and he everybody would ask him. He said, "What's wrong with your hands? They look terrible."
And I would know because in 2019, I had a metal door slammed against my fingernail and it ripped off over half my fingernail. And I would know what it felt like to like do anything with that finger, and it would hurt. It would hurt somewhat, and it would sting, and it was terrible. And like the whole time it recovered for like a month or 2 months.
I was going to say, and you wouldn't recover overnight.
Yeah, 2 or 3
it would
months.
Probably be at least a few weeks.
It took. It was very painful, and so the fact that he just acts like nothing happened is just ridiculous. I mean, that's why I say he was the worst actor in this whole show. He was terrible, and there was the scene where he's being tortured. It's like
and he's screaming. He's not. It's not like, oh, this feels really good.
But it doesn't even seem like he's being tortured. It's like he's just like.
That's why I didn't know what was going on. I wasn't sure what was going on.
I know. I was like, this scene could have been.
Couldn't see it, and couldn't fathom it.
It's another scene that could have been executed better and made into an effective scene, but because of that terrible acting and the way it was shot, it didn't work. I would say let's talk about the only good acting.
Well, let me know.
The gay killer, I think that he's creepy. If he's
the one, we think could be the one. All these people are visiting this doctor who is being played by a woman.
And she's Carrie Fisher's daughter.
Yeah, Carrie Fisher's daughter.
You have to wonder if she'll do anything this season, because last season
they hardly let her do anything.
She was that really cool tattoo artist where she gives vampires their fangs, and they didn't do anything with that with her character, and she just kind of like dropped off. So,
and she's pretty good. She could be pretty good. So
she's fine. I mean,
we don't know because they keep cutting her off.
Yeah, it's like, and then I'm trying to think who else. Like, ugh.
Well, anyway, the thing is, the reason why everybody's going to the doctor is because they're getting these rashes. And what else are they getting?
I don't know.
Did you hear?
I
just heard about the rashes because I've had trouble. I got poison ivy.
It was a pain to watch this. Like, I was like, ugh, when is this going to be over? I got to waste 2 hours of my evening watching this trash. And I will say, other good acting, before we get back to the virus, since you interrupted again, other good acting is, I really think that the guy from last season was pretty good. The guy who, the other guy in the couple.
Oh.
I thought that the photographer guy, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was.
And so it was nice that at least he got to have a better role than last season, where he was like, I just wanted to kill him myself.
He and that other boy
his
said those filthy things that I wouldn't repeat in front of a cat or a dog.
That was the most
so
embarrassing thing ever.
And I went on and on
scene.
about it. But this guy has not done anything like that. But he's just been very professional, and he's done a really good job.
He did a good job, yeah. And then everyone else is just like playing themselves. And see, that's the other thing about this segregationalist casting, is that when you cast people who are just playing themselves, what do they end up doing? Playing themselves. Yeah. And that's what all the actors did. And the worst parts, there's so many scenes in these first 2 episodes where all it is are just these guys sitting in apartments
talking
and it's like, who wants to watch this crap? Oh, they're arguing, though. They're having gay arguments. The stereotype where all gay people do is argue. They have these big, loud arguments because they're gay. And they're so dramatic. That's like a stereotype. That's a negative stereotype. And that's all that happens on this whole fucking show. That's what happens when that guy gets killed in the bar. You have the main gay couple, they're having a gay argument, and they're having such a big argument, they don't see a guy getting killed.
Nobody saw it. Nobody.
What the fuck?
Which was really weird. This wasn't a little, like, there are a couple people in the bar. This was like a Friday or Saturday night type of a crowd. It wasn't really crowded, like, shoulder to shoulder, but it was pretty crowded. And for nobody to see the person do it, and also that they got away, is unbelievable. Because now that's why we're not sure about who the killer is completely, is because this guy is really big and broad-shouldered. And if it's the guy with the leather, I mean, he's very recognizable. He's the only one wearing a leather head mask and look like he's about ready to chop off people's heads because he's an executioner.
Well, that's why I said I think he's like the Grim Reaper, and then the killer is the killer.
I don't know. So anyway, there's two things that happen. No, three. And that's they're all going to see this doctor because they're getting rashes and something else. I don't remember. And then the second thing is one of the main characters, who's gay, wears short sleeves, but he doesn't seem to engage in any of the behaviors like everybody else. His roommate disappears and he thinks he's been... Well, first of all, he thinks he might just be missing and he can find it, but then...
He's doing okay.
The newspaper guy tells him no, he's probably dead. And so they team up to do... I'm not sure what they're doing.
A bunch of nonsense.
They're
like
calling attention to themselves.
Inflammatory journalism.
Yeah.
Like they do today.
And they're trying to get people to, to report about things they'd seen that weren't right in terms of a murderer or who it might be, or anything. And they post all these signs on everywhere. And the guy who has the missing roommate, he even goes to a bathhouse, not to go have sex with somebody, but I guess he was trying to be a detective, but then you don't, because he's trying to get information from other people. And he even sees the photographer, the actor from last season, and he says, they didn't say it like this, but, you want to go get a room or whatever, do their little sexual thing. He says, no, I'm not doing that. And then the other guy says, well, I'm in a relationship too, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's just,
no, I told the other guy was in the multiple partner bullshit they do nowadays with everyone.
Yeah, but the one, though, that has the roommate, he won't, he doesn't do anything. He just... And he doesn't, it's not like, I've read so many murder mysteries where you can tell it's a little bit more obvious they're being a detective, or they say it, or the person they're talking to says something about them doing detective work. Nothing like that at all. Nothing. So he's just quiet. And he's okay. He's not bad.
Well, he started off in Team Wolf, where he played twins, and he did a pretty good job in that, but he was kind of just there to be like a model, and people looked at him and it's like, ooh, look, it's a guy with his shirt off. Like, that's basically his character in that show. But he's okay. Like, he's not terrible. Like, if I were to rank the actors... which I'm not going to do, because...
Don't do that now.
I don't care. I don't care at all, but he wouldn't be at the bottom. He'd be like in the middle, kind of. But I'm not interested. Like, I gave it a chance. Like, this was 2 hours, and nothing happened in these 2 hours.
Well,
like, nothing at all.
Some things happen, but like I said, it's very low-key.
Yeah.
It's almost like for the torture thing, like I said, and it was dark. We have a thing with the lighting. Well, I guess they didn't really want to show that because didn't want to really show it. They did, but they didn't.
Even though that's what the show's known for.
Right. I don't know what their mindset is. And
I don't want to know.
Then you have people disappearing, and you might hear some yells of "ah!" And that's it. But nothing else. And then at the end, we have one last thing, and this is what I guess may get the police involved.
This part looked, I swear, guys, this part at the end of the second episode looked like a Halloween store prop.
I didn't know what it was. I watched the scene like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, what is that? I had no idea. And what happened was, the gay cop, well, the police station calls him and says, there's been another murder or whatever. And then so the gay cop goes to the scene, meets with the guy he just talked to on the phone, and he says, well, who is it, or where was he found, or whatever. He goes, no, and he said it. Do you remember the quote he said? He said it in a certain way, where it was like, no, this wasn't one appetizer. This was a whole charcuterie or whatever, of appetizers. And it's a big, like a big string.
It's like a.
You better describe it, because I couldn't see it. I didn't know what I was looking at.
I told you, it's a display at Spirit Halloween.
Oh, they probably got it at the Spirit Halloween store.
It looked. I mean, even the Spirit Halloween movie looked more realistic than this. Like.
It was one of those things called like 4th of July.
It's a wire.
Big, like a curl banner that they put in front of windows and doorways, and it's red, white, and blue.
No, it was a it was a wire or something, and then they had these like hooks that had body parts attached to all of them, and then they were all like strung together like it's a clothesline. And it was sort of like it's trying to be like a metaphor for the different handkerchiefs in the closet or something. And it's like all these little body parts, and it looks so fake.
It wasn't little either. This was strung like across 2 storefronts, or at least
bad.
one. And like, what is that?
It was so bad looking. It was like, what the... Like, this is... See, he didn't care. He didn't put any effort into the show. He didn't care at all about the quality. He said, all I care about this year is Dahmer.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm thinking, too, about the Hannibal series, where in the beginning of it, like the first season, maybe part of the second, they had all these artistic displays of murder victims.
They look so much more real. They look so much better.
And gross and gruesome. And they could have done something like that.
That's why I'm saying Brian Fuller should have done this season.
And I'm like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. And I asked Marco, I said, what was it supposed to be?
A Spirit Halloween. Cost $379 plus tax.
I don't know, but it was... Because, when you go to Spirit Halloween, you can get body parts. Ears.
You could get a display like this where you have, like, hooks with body parts.
Yeah, you can. Because we've gotten some.
That's what it looks like, Safi. Like, we could literally recreate that right now.
Well, I don't know. I guess we still have some stuff in the basement. I guess I'll have to put it out for somebody to take, because
or at
we won't be able to use it.
We could go to
the
Foy's.
Minnie Mouse apartment we're moving to.
You want to go to Foy's, Safi?
No.
You want to look around at Foy's?
No, because we don't. We can't do anything with it.
Well, I will be dressing up as Jeffrey for Halloween. I will be playing Jeffrey Dahmer.
We're moving on Halloween, by the way, too. All the days in the year. One of our favorite holidays.
Safi, who will you be as for Halloween? Let's announce it now.
I don't know.
Right now.
I don't know. It depends on if anybody buys this inventory.
Why don't you go to Foy's and get a costume?
I don't want to get a costume.
Well, why don't you make it your goal that you have to... Oh,
What
I
are we
know.
going to do? Go in our cars to the apartment we're moving to and unload our stuff in costumes?
Yeah, people will be like, "Oh, that's the cool family." They're not like the gay people on American Horror Story who are fucking stereotypical weirdos. You know, they're like cool people on Halloween.
Okay, well, I think we've covered everything.
Well,
That was disappointing, though, because they could have done 1,000 times more better.
I was excited. I thought it's New York City. That sounds like it could be pretty epic. Like,
it should be.
They could have done a lot of different things. Like, what I'm thinking of is like gargoyles. Like with the X-Files, you know, that gargoyle episode?
Yeah.
They should have done like a whole season about gargoyles or something. Or they should have done something where like you had a bunch of different monsters and maybe it's like a metaphor for immigration or something. Like, I don't know. Like,
what about Broadway? Monsters on Broadway.
No Broadway. No. Safi, don't make it any worse.
Well, that's New York City. So I mean, that is an epic New York City.
That's you can take that part of New York City and leave it.
I like that part. Anyway,
I don't. I prefer.
It's not just musicals, you know. It's also just regular plays.
I prefer like elevated things like let's see. What do I prefer? Psycho 3. Psycho 3, which is my favorite horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, Safi, I would rate the first 2 episodes of this trash. I would rate both of them an F- because I don't want to give them D's because because it would be like, well, I gave episodes last season D's, and those episodes were better than this, so I have to give them lower than those. What would you give them, Safi?
Well, I'm still going to stick with what I said. I'll just give the 2 a C-. And the reason I'm doing that, it's a gift.
Yeah.
Because I
you
don't like what they did with the gay community.
Yeah.
Because I know some gay people, and I just think, why are you doing an injustice to the gay people? They don't need that. And why can't you be like in Glee? Which you ought to know because you did it. You did Glee. Both of you, it was Falchuk is doing this too. And both he and Murphy did Glee. You had gay people on there, and you did all kinds of storylines that they went along with everything else. I mean, it was multiple storylines of different subjects, and you could have. Why can't you do better, as good as you did with that? And also, this is a horror story, so it should be.
And it wasn't horror. And
supernatural, and all kinds of things associated with this series. Where is it? And I just. But I'm giving it to you as a gift because I'm hoping, and it may be really in vain,
it is,
that the rest of the series will be, because I don't, both of us, neither one of us can figure out what you're going to do with the rest of the series for this year.
I can't believe there's 10 episodes of this crap.
I just don't, I can't imagine what you're going to do. So you're going to find the killer, which, to me, we already know who it might be. And that's weird. I'm pretty good about doing that, but if it's really good, I can't really guess this quickly. So I probably totally wrong. So if I am, wow, you're doing a great red herring. But anyway, I'm hoping that it will be better. That it will get better. Because we all know the first episodes, for a lot of, not everybody.
For modern shows.
Yeah, for modern shows.
Are mostly bad episodes. They're like setup.
Right.
And it takes a lot of work to make a good first episode. That's why, a lot of shows don't get picked up, is because their first episodes aren't even good enough for the network. So, Safi, will you not give them a gift next week? Like, will you rate the show fairly next week?
It just depends, because we're just seeing one. Are we going to see 2 every week?
No, please
okay.
no.
So
I
we'll
hope
just
not.
have one Chucky and one American Horror Story that come on at the same night at different times.
Yeah, that's good enough for me.
I think that's Wednesday night. So anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to become one of our subscribers, and if you want to watch this, go ahead.
No, don't do that.
Or if you don't,
do that.
whatever, don't you want to, or why did you, and what you thought about it, if you agree. And that's it, everybody. Goodbye.
Well, only watch it if you're going to watch it to make fun of it. It would
No,
be...
that's not right.
Yeah, it is. Because it would be something where, like, I could imagine doing, like, really funny commentaries of this trash. So, goodbye, everybody. See you
Bye.
soon.